Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be my April favorites. Okay, I know this video is coming at the end of May, but I still wanted to share my April favorites. The month of May got a little bit away from me, but I still wanted to share products that I have been loving. I have a bunch of beauty products in here that I just keep wearing. I have a book and I also have a TV show. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, welcome. So I do always start my videos with an outfit of the day. So today I just have on some denim and a crop top here. And I just finished filming a video where I did a haul. And it was a very special haul because it was my haul for creators and friends, which was an influencer retreat that I helped host and plan that happened in Charleston, South Carolina. So that haul should already be up by the time this video goes live. But it was really fun to talk about the event, why I wanted to plan it, how it all went, and then why I ended up not going. And that's also why my April favorites is coming at the end of the month of May, because if you haven't caught the last few of my videos, unfortunately my dog Aries has been diagnosed with a pretty aggressive form of cancer. So it was literally May 1st that I took her in to the vet, and by the end of the week I had all of the diagnosis and prognosis and what to do and all of that. So unfortunately, within 48 hours of getting the news, I was supposed to be heading to Charleston. I was not able to make the event, but I still got all of my products in so I could do a haul. But it is also why this video is coming so late. But like I said, I still really wanted to film these favorites. Aries did film with me in the last video, but that took a lot out of her. You know, she's got a lot going on right now. So she is now napping underneath my desk, but she might join us later, so her chair is still in the back in case she wants to. But like I said, I have some extras in here apart from a bunch of beauty products that I'm going to be sharing. So I thought we could jump into those first. And I mentioned that a TV show is a favorite of mine. I don't know if I've ever put a TV show in a favorites video of mine, but I had to mention this one. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of movies. Sometimes I can, you know, get poked fun of a little bit in my new makeup releases series if there's like collaborations and I'm like, what is that? People are like, it's a super popular show. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I don't know. But if you have been following me for a little bit, you might know how much I love Bridgerton. Season 1. Okay, I loved Bridgerton season 1. In my mind, I am married to Reggae Jean Page. Season 2, I was so excited for, and I remember I actually watched it on a plane, and I'm trying to think of where I was going, but I was watching it on a plane, and I was like, I'd rather just eat these peanuts and Cheez-Its in front of me than watch the show. I did not enjoy season 2, and I was so sad about that because I was really looking forward to it. And then we had Queen Charlotte being released. I instantly, like the moment I saw the trailer for the show, I was like, yes, I have to watch this. And I believe it came out just a few days after like everything was happening with Aries. And obviously when you get news like that, no matter what, it's very difficult, but my dog is my best friend. She has been with me through so much. And obviously all of it was like a very traumatic experience, being told she had days to live. Like it was just like I was in complete turmoil. There was a point where I just could not get out of bed. I was literally surviving on Sprite and white cheddar popcorn. That's all I was consuming. And as I was just laying in bed, I'm still someone who I don't really like just not doing anything. And I was like, I need to be doing something. What can I do? And I was like, oh, Queen Charlotte is out. I can watch Queen Charlotte. So I brought my laptop into my bedroom and signed into Netflix, and I started watching Queen Charlotte. And when I tell you that I loved this so much, I think it took me like 2 days to watch all of those. I feel like this isn't considered, and I might be wrong, but I feel like this isn't considered like a season. Like we had season 1, we had season 2, and then it's like, then we have Queen Charlotte. I feel like this was kind of just like a mini show. I think there was like 8 episodes. It only took me a couple days to watch, and obviously I wasn't really doing much of anything else. So I was watching this and I fell in love with it. Like what, to me, it was such a beautiful love story between Queen Charlotte and King George, or just George. And you know, at the beginning it does say this is a fictional show, but based on, you know, true events and actual Queen Charlotte and King George. And I mean, as I was watching the show, I was Googling their family. There's a very big plot point in there of how none of their children are having children to continue on the line. And so I was like going through and like reading about all of the children that they have. Obviously there's a lot, a huge storyline with King George and his illness and figuring out what is going on and how he hides it from his wife Charlotte, who, you know, they met for the first time as they're getting married, you know, standard. I just thought all of that was so fascinating. I kept going to see, you know, obviously I'm watching a fiction show, but then I kept going to see what was happening in real life. But I thought the love story between them was so, so beautiful, and especially the ending. The ending, oh man, the ending really got me good. You know, I just finished filming the haul for Charleston, and at one point I tried my best to stay positive and not cry in front of my dog, because I know she picks that up. I was crying for a little bit, and then I got done filming what's probably gonna be a really long haul, and I went into my bathroom and I had mascara all running along, and I was like, oh, perfect. So I'm gonna try not to cry in this video. But I felt like their love story was just so, so sweet. And, you know, two people who don't know each other at all. And again, is that real life? I don't know. But the story that I'm watching and watching it unfold, it just really, it had me in my field. Brimsley and Reynolds. Okay. Anyone else, like, please leave me some comments. Like, I made a TikTok after I watched the show, and I was like, please people talk to me in the comments, because no one else, like, in my real life really cares about Bridgerton or watches it, which is so funny because they watch like every other show, Vanderpump Rules and not Desperate Housewives, but the Housewives and all these, and I was like, Bridgerton, and they're like, no. I'm like, okay, I just want to talk about it with somebody. But I am so curious if we will get maybe another like mini series or whatever, or mini show about the love story between Queen Charlotte's like right-hand man, Brimsley, who goes everywhere with her, and then also King George's right-hand man, I don't recall what they call them, who is Reynolds. So we have two men who are in love with each other, which in that time era is obviously, I had to be a secret. So see how they would struggle with one another, but you also get, there's just like such a sweet scene where in Queen Charlotte, you're going back and forth between the past and the present, from young King George and young Queen Charlotte to where they are in like present day, like how we know them in Bridgerton season 1 and 2. And so in the past, you see Brimsley and Reynolds dancing like on the outskirts when there's a ball, and you see them dancing, and then it flashes to the I have goosebumps. It flashes to the forward, and Brimsley's dancing by himself, and I was like, oh. And I'm just thinking, you know, I know a lot of us, I was like reading the comments of like, what happened to Reynolds? Like, did he die? Is he just not working for King George anymore? And like they couldn't be together? Did they get found out and they couldn't be together? I really want there to be more to the story with those two, because I was so, so curious, and I loved watching them. But I also thought Lady Danbury had such an interesting story to tell, and I would love to get to know her more as well. She was a very intriguing character to me in season 1 and season 2, and to get the younger version of her and what she dealt with her husband, and even how she was able to get the title of Lady Danbury, I thought was all very interesting. Her friendship with the Queen. I enjoyed the show so much, so I tried to make my thoughts brief on that, just because I know not everyone has watched it. But did you watch Queen Charlotte? What did you think? Did you love it? I did, and it makes me really excited once again for the next actual season of Bridgerton. So I did also want to mention a book, and I was really excited to talk about this because how I've been saying it when I've been doing my reviews is that I feel like it's a really good book to read if you are a beauty lover, which I know a lot of us are. This is my main channel where we mostly discuss beauty, and this book is called Fifth Avenue Glamour Girl, and it's by Renee Rosen. I really like a lot of Renee's books. She does a lot of historical fiction, and while I will say historical fiction is not my most read genre, if I am really intrigued, especially by like the heroine, then I am more likely to say yes to the review request. I am also a book blogger. I do all of my reviews on my blog, chicletplus.com. So I get the majority of the books that I read are at request from authors or publishers or publishing houses. And so when I saw this one come through, again, I already know Renee and I really like her books, but then I read that this is, again, a fictional novel based on Estee Lauder. And Estee Lauder, the person, not the brand and the huge corporation that we know today. So again, I will have all of this linked down below, but just from the synopsis, it says it's 1938 and a young woman selling face cream out of a New York City beauty parlor is determined to prove she can have it all. Her name is Estee Lauder and she's about to take the world by storm. Gloria Downing is actually who we follow, and from what I understand, this is a completely fictional character, but in the book, this Gloria Downing becomes, you know, best friends with Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder is actually a bit of an older woman that was kind of different for the business, I guess. Like, her age kept getting touched on because she wasn't just like some young, fresh face. Like, she was a woman, she was married, she was a mother eventually to 2 sons in the book, but she had this vision of her products, of her cold creams, of her eyeshadow, of her rouge, of her lipstick. She really felt like her products could give women the tools to feel more confident and more beautiful. And so when she meets this Gloria is very down and out on her luck as well. She grew up in a very wealthy family, but her father has just been sent to prison. So she's really struggling. She's struggling with her identity and changing her name to try to get away from, you know, the scandal that her father has caused. And she also doesn't have any money. So she takes on a job as a shampoo girl in a beauty parlor, which is where she meets Estee Lauder because Estee sells her products out of beauty parlors at the time. To me, I thought it was so interesting because obviously there's shards of truth embedded in the story here. And as I was reading, I was also researching at the same time and looking things up because yes, I know Estee Lauder as the company today. Yes, I know them for their double wear that so many people love. Yes, I know that they are a huge corporation that now owns other businesses and all of that. But I really didn't know a lot about the start of the company, and I really didn't know much about Estee Lauder, the person. And so it was really interesting to read something and be like, is that fact or perhaps fiction? And go online and look it up and learn about how she ran this business with her husband, learn about how she ran the business with her 2 sons, which then became also like still a part of the business. But I also thought it was very interesting to get kind of this behind the scenes of the beauty industry in the late 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and how the goal and the drive with all of these business and brand owners was to get into these big department stores like Saks Fifth Avenue, and what they would do and like kind of almost like the antics that they would do. You know, there was no social media at this time and there was no internet and there was no influencers. How are these brands getting their products to women or to their consumers? Is by putting them into these big department stores, but they gotta stand out. The competition between them, you get like these little fights between them, and there was just like so many little tidbits along the way that I thought was really interesting. One of them being how I think I'm saying this correctly, L'Oreal, I should have fact checked myself before I filmed, but L'Oreal used to be at Saks Fifth Avenue, and it is said that Estee Lauder is actually one that pushed L'Oreal out, and then L'Oreal became known as a drugstore brand. And I was like, what? And I'm like going to the internet, I'm like looking everything up, and it's just these little tidbits that you would get about the beauty industry in a very different place and time that I thought was so interesting. Again, it's a fiction novel. There's a really nice author's note at the end that kind of explains like she created this or this character or this plot point and that sort of thing, but you also know that you are getting a little bit of history in there too. I thought it was such a fascinating book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend Renee Rosen, but Fifth Avenue Glamour Girl was such a fun one. All right, let me move over to the beauty products. So in the video that I just filmed, again, that Creators and Friends haul, I actually mentioned these 2 products. This was one of the brands that sponsored a part of the trip, and they sent some items along for the goodie bag. but you have been seeing me use the new Sigma Beauty cream blushes so much. I think that these are beautiful. The shade that I've been using the most is in Corda Rosa. These blushes are so easy to use. They are very natural. They're very blendable. They build really nicely. It's not too much when you first put it on. I'm typically applying these with a damp sponge, but I just keep using this over and over and over again, and I think that it is so stunning. So I highly recommend the Sigma cream blushes. And I also really had to mention my Sigma switch, and these got sent to the goodie bags for the creators, and I was seeing so many of the other women using this product, and I actually had wanted to mention it because, again, the start of my month was a little bit rough. I just started, like, not that I clean my brushes, deep clean them on a regular basis anyways, but I was to the point where I was like, okay, I really need to clean my brushes. Everything happened. I was like, this is so overwhelming. I was still trying to film and do like all of my regular things, and I was like, I have no brushes. I used my Sigma switch so much this month until my mom came and she cleaned all my brushes. So shout out to Mama March. Her and my aunt came out to help me about a week after I got the news, and they helped me clean and organize and open packages and just distract me and provide love for me and Aries, which was so great. But I just wanted to mention the Sigma switch because this is what you can use if you have, I don't have any eyeshadow on, so I don't, okay, we'll use this brush. It's one of the Singe Beauty brushes. Hey, shout out Angelica. I had an eye reaction the other day, so I still haven't been wearing eyeshadow. But what this is, if you have pigment on your brush, you can just run this on your Sigma switch and it takes that pigment off, and then you can go into your next shadow. Again, this isn't deep cleaning your brushes. You still have to be, you know, you still gotta figure out the time to do that, or have Mama March come to your apartment, which is very helpful. But again, I think this is so good for traveling too. So you don't have to bring a whole plethora of brushes. And if you wanna use purple one day and brown the next day, you just bring this instead of a whole bunch of brushes. It's so easy to clean. And I just love my Sigma switch. So I was really happy to see a lot of the creators loving that product, but it's one I definitely recommend. I am an affiliate with Sigma and my discount code is Samantha if there's ever anything that you want to try out. Okay, a lot of these products I had in my last, I think it was called like trying hyped new makeup or something like that. And these products I just keep reaching for and keep reaching for because I felt like they were all so good. When I was doing that video, I was like, okay, this is a pretty phenomenal trying new makeup right now, okay? This one from Tower 28, this is their Sculptino. It is a cream contour slash bronzer shade is how it's described. Mine is in the shade Broad, which is a little bit more cool toned. This is so beautiful and once again, so easy to work with. It looks natural, it's buildable, it's blendable. It just like snatches my face in a way that I'm like, am I a supermodel? Like, I don't, like whenever I wear this, and I wear this with the Sigma cream blush so much, these just, it's like a your skin but better, which is what I really enjoy about some cream products. Some cream products I don't have that with, and I'm like, ooh, it's too much, it's too heavy, it's too overboard, it doesn't blend well, it's picking up my other products. Not these. These are amazing. Highly recommend both of them. And then another product, I've been raving about this one. I've been using it so much. You are always seeing it linked in my description box. The new Lawless Beauty Powder. I am so thankful for this product. This is their perfecting powder. I have the shade light medium. I cannot stop using this. We all probably know that I love my Dior Powder No Powder so much. It's supposed to be being discontinued. It's also very pricey. This one from Lawless, why I like this, and I put a short up with like a demo of it. What I said with this one compared to the Dior I feel like puts a filter over your face, which I love that, okay? Sometimes I need a good filter over my face and the Dior powder does that for me. This to me still gives you that smooth, blurred out, kind of soft matte finish, but without being like as extreme of a filter and a compact as the Dior. It's like a little bit more on the natural side, and I just love this powder. A lot of times I just do concealer and powder, and I'm always going for the Lawless because again, it just smooths everything out. It blurs the skin, but it's not too much. It's not heavy, it's not cakey. I've been so impressed with this one. I highly recommend to check out the Lawless Beauty Powder. And then another one, I have to give a shout out to this because I've been wearing it so much. the It Cosmetics Bye Dark Spots Concealer and Serum. I have the shade Medium Neutral. This is like my go-to concealer right now. So you have your concealer, and then I also really like that it comes with a little brush as well. This was definitely one that I was going to bring in my Charleston bag, not only because I love it, but I love like you just have the little brush right here, and even though it's small, I still feel like it does a great job blending, because this concealer, it's so lightweight, yet it still gives you a really nice coverage. It's great for the under eyes, and it's almost a little bit more hydrating. Does this have I feel like maybe I thought I saw that this has caffeine in it. Yes, it does. So it almost kind of like brightens the under eyes a little bit as well without like highlighting them or anything like that. But then you can also use it on your dark spots, and I do still have like some redness from acne scars and things like that. So you can use it on those spots as well. It's not every concealer I can use on my under eyes and also to spot conceal. This one I can, and again, if you're similar to me, my shade is in Medium Neutral, but this is one that I put on, and I'm trying to have a little bit more patience because from what I'm hearing, it's good to put your concealer on and then let it like sit for a little bit, and then also blend it out and let it sit for a little bit before you do the powder. So I've been trying to do that, and I honestly feel like even if I put a lot on my under eyes, by the time I go to blend it, it's like doo doo doo. Oh, okay. Did I do that? It's like it's so great. I love this one. I hope that you will try it. And then I'm gonna finish off with my go-to lip combo right now. I typically do lip combo videos whenever I find one that I'm super obsessed with, but this one, I'm wearing it right now and I have been loving it. So this is a Charlotte Tilbury lip liner, and I love the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners. I think that they're great. They are so long wearing, they're easy to apply, but literally they are so long wearing. Like, yes, my dog just let out a giant snore because she's like, you've said this. You've said this a million. I know, we all know this. But the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners are so great. This one that I've been wearing so much is in Love Trap. Not one, like what am I trying to say? I most often go for my Iconic Nude. That one I think is so beautiful, but Love Trap is just like, it's a little bit darker. It's still on that like rosy nude side. And it's just beautiful. It's not red, but it has a little bit of something. And I think that it's beautiful, but obviously I love the formula. But I keep reaching for my Love Trap. And then I've been pairing it with one of the YSL Candy lip glazes. Now I have a couple different shades of these, and oftentimes too, I do like to do some of the darker ones because these look like a lipstick, but they actually are more of a gloss. So like this one is in the shade 6. So it's like this beautiful red. And then I have another darker one too, and this one is in 3, and this one is more of like your vampy shade. So those are really beautiful, but you know, with like the warm weather and just all of that, like this one in 02 is so stunning because it's more of like your kind of more of like your clear, just like a little bit of a pinky gloss, if you can see it there. I like to pair it with a lip liner because I love lip liners, and I just think that these are stunning. They give a nice shine to the lips, but they're not sticky, and I think that they're so beautiful. So especially this lip combo, the Love Trap and the YSL Candy Glaze in 02, think is so beautiful, and it's just so easy to reapply. Also, the packaging is just like luxe and beautiful because it's YSL, so like you pull it out of your bag and like you just feel a little bit fancier. It's super easy to reapply. These I think are a vibe, so that is my lip combo that I keep reaching for at the moment that I just love. So those are all of my April favorites coming to you at the end of May. I hope that you still enjoyed this video and hearing about some of my faves. Let me know if you've seen Bridgerton. Let me know if you're gonna read Fifth Avenue Glamour Girl, or if you've tried any of these makeup products, including my go-to lip duo right now. I of course would love to know. As always though, if you enjoyed this one, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.